In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create engineering drawings from a small wooden boat model. You need two things before you get started. You need the little 3D model of the boat, and if you haven't made that already, then I suggest you follow along with the earlier parts to this video series. And the second thing that you need is a blank drawing template. Let's go over to Inventor and have a look at these things. So in Inventor, I've already made the little 3D boat, and this is one of our starting points. So from here, to create an engineering drawing, what you're going to do is go up to File and open the drawing template that's required for this tutorial, and it's called OrthoBlank. You're going to open this up, and what we're looking at here is an A3 piece of paper, and it's already got a title block down here, and it's got a border on it as well. The first thing you're going to do is immediately save this under a new name so as not to overwrite your copy of OrthoBlank. So I'm going to go to File, I'm going to go to Save As, and I'm going to call this Boat Drawing and press Save. Okay. Now we have to bring in the views of our boat. And the first thing we're going to bring in is what's called the base view. We go up to base, right here, okay, and if it's smart enough, it'll already have located the boat or the last file that you've made, but if not, you may have to go to the browse, okay, there's the boat right there. Okay, now, while this option box is still open, we've got to decide what we want to bring in, okay, and it asks us many things. The first thing we need to notice is the style. This one here includes hidden lines, so any little hidden details will be shown as dashed lines. So let's keep that on hidden detail. The label, not so important, but the scale is. We may come back to that in a minute. And we have to decide which view we're going to bring in first of all. So I'm going to use a little view cube here to rotate the boat. And I want this one, this side-on view, to be our main view. Okay, but it's looking a little small on the page. It's reduced it to half scale here. So let's turn this back up to full size and leave it like that, okay? And we can maneuver this, and let's plonk it around there. Once you're happy with that, we click OK. And it creates the first view of our boat. Now, we need to create projected views from this. We need to create, that's our front view if you like, we need to create a top and a side view over here. So let's go to projected. Okay, now nothing appears to have happened, but look down here, the bottom left corner of Inventor, it's asking you a question. It's saying please select a view. So you're going to pick this one here. Now it's crucial that when your mouse pointer comes over this view, it kind of turns, you get a little red frame around it. Okay, so you're going to click near that frame. Okay, and then depending on where you move your mouse, it's going to create a different view for you. So the first thing we're going to do is pop a view down up here, click, and then we're going to move our mouse out here, and we're going to go click out there as well. And then we go right click and create. And both of those views have been projected from it. And the final view we're going to do is what's called a pictorial view. So again, we're going to go up to projected, projected. We're going to click on this view, and then push your mouse up into this corner. We're going to put a 3D pictorial view of the boat up in here, click, and then we go right click and create. Got a problem. This pictorial view is not as important as the other ones right here, okay? So we need to make it smaller in size. So move your mouse pointer over into this view highlights with a red frame and double click it. And change the scale to let's see what a half looks like. That's better. Okay. Also, let's change the style to the middle version right here, and that will remove hidden lines. Okay, good. That's our views all created. At this point, let's save our work. File, save. The next thing we need to do is put in center lines. We need a special type of line for any circles or cylinders or holes or tubes that we find on our boat. So we're going to go to Annotate up here and look for this center mark. kind of crisscross symbol here, click on that, and then we're going to go round, and anywhere we can see a circle, we're going to click the circle, click, 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 and put a little centre mark in each of these. Okay, there's all the circles right there. Okay, and then we're going to right click and say OK. But we also need to put centre lines down cylinders as well. And the way we do that is we go to this button right here, the centerline bisector it's called. Select that tool. And then we're going to look for anything which is actually a cylinder. So for example, this funnel is a cylinder. You click on the two edges of it once and twice, and you get a centerline up the middle of it. Let's do that again over here. Click and click, we get a centerline. And of course, these holes are all cylinders as well. So let's click once, click twice, click once, click twice, and go around all of these holes, clicking 2 times on the edges until we get centre lines. And once we're finished putting our centre lines and our centre marks in, we go right click and, oh, create's not available for us, we must be finished. Let's go right click and escape then. Okay, and at this point, save your work again. File, save. Okay, next thing we need to add are dimensions. We need to create all kinds of dimensions here. Now to do this, we're going to stay on the Annotate tab, and we're going to look for dimension right here. Click on dimension, and dimension usually, but not always, usually needs 2 clicks. It's a bit like the dimension tool when you were modelling the 3D boat. And the first one we're going to put in is the overall size. So we're going to click from there to the very tip, and you'll now find a number has been glued to your mouse pointer. Stamp that down up there. Okay, it's asking us here if we want to change the size, or do we just want to accept what Inventor knows about the boat. Okay, we don't want to change it, so we'll just say OK. Okay, so there's the overall size right there. Okay, let's put in the overall height. Okay, dimension's still blue, it's still active. Let's go from here to here, stick that size in over there, and OK that box. And then let's do from here to here and stick that size over there and say OK. Okay, so we've got overall height, we've overall length, overall height, and let's stick in the overall width. Let's go from there to there, oops, from there, sorry, to there, and stick that down there, and OK that. We've got the overall sizes in, length, width, and heights right there. So now we need to start putting in the in-between sizes, and we're going to do all the sizes along this edge right here. So my dimension tool is still active, it's still blue. I'm going to go click to there, and I'm going to stick that size up there, and I'm going to press OK, and I'm going to go between there and there and stick that size up there and say OK, and I'm going to go between there and there and stick that size there and say OK, and finally from there to there and pop that up and say OK. We do not need to put in the size here, we can leave a gap here because we can figure that out. Okay, we know the overall length and we know all the other sizes, so putting in a size here would be overkill. Okay, other sizes that we need, dimension tool still active. We'll go from here to here and put that size out there and say OK. And that tells us that size there, and it tells us that size there. Okay, and the next thing we need to do is set the sizes of these holes. Okay, we need to know where these holes are. Okay, dimension tool is still active, so let's go from that corner to there. Click on that. I'm going to zoom in so you can see what I'm selecting here. Okay, that was maybe a little bit far out. So dimension, we're actually selecting the very end of the centre mark there to the very end of the centre mark there. We're popping that there and saying OK. And finally, end of the centre mark to the end of the centre mark, and we're popping that there and saying OK. How far in are these holes? Let's do this. Let's click from there to the end of that centre mark, okay, and we'll pop that size in there, and we'll say OK. Now at this point, I want to show you a little trick. It's not good practice to have our dimensions sitting over the top of the boat, okay, so we need to close our dimension tool. We're going to right click and we're going to say OK, and then we're going to grab this number 10 and we're going to click and slide it out. Click and slide it and reposition it there. Okay, that will only work so long as nothing else is turned on up the top of the screen, so make sure that everything else is turned off. Okay, so we'll click and we'll move that. We can move that to wherever we want. Okay, let's pop it like that. Okay, and what else we need to do is we need to set the radius of these corners out here. So again, we're going to turn on dimension again, turn on dimension, and then just click these curves there, and we'll take radius 10 there. Okay, now at this point, these little chevrons here tell us that Inventor is going to use whatever it finds on the model, but we can add extra words. So let's click in this box and put a space and write both sides. Click OK, and that tells us that this curve right here is the same as this curve over here. We need to say how big this cylinder is. We need to set the diameter of that as well. So let's make sure our dimension tool is still switched on. It is. Okay, so come over and click on the circle, click, and let's put this out right here. Stamp that down and say OK. This little funny circle with a line through its symbol indicates that it's a diameter, the distance right across the circle in there. Okay, let's see how we're doing. We don't know the size of these holes in here, but I feel like this view's getting a little cluttered. Okay, so let's put the size of the hole down here where we've got more space. Okay, so let's zoom in, dimension tool switched on. Let's go from there, click, to there, and let's pop this up here. Okay, now 8's not going to cut it. Okay, 8 doesn't tell us that this is a round hole, so we're going to have to put a diameter symbol in. So let's put our cursor down in there, let's click there in that box, and then immediately press the left arrow key to take us right back to the start of the line. We need to press it a few times, and then we're going to go and click on this diameter symbol right here. Click on that and hit OK. Okay, that's the dimensioning finished. Let's right click and say OK. Now we have to put in text. We have to label our views. Okay, so to put in text, we go up to text right here. In fact, let's save at this point. Okay, let's go up to file and save. Okay, text. Let's go up to text here like this. Click on that, and then click down where you'd like the text to appear. Okay, so we're going to click on here, and we're going to call this the front view. So type the word front, click and select it all, and make its font size 5mm. Okay. Alright, let's go up here. Text tool is still active. Let's click on here, click in the box and type plan. In fact, let's go with plain English and call it top. Select that word, change the font size to 5 and hit OK. And now over here we've got a problem because I've used this, I've got a dimension sitting here. Okay, so we're going to have to shift this a little bit. Okay, so let's cancel our text tool, let's go right click, OK, and let's slide that dimension up just a little bit. In fact, I've just realised this shouldn't be front, this should be side, shouldn't it? So we can change that. Okay, let's change it. Let's double click, select it all and type in side. Okay, like that. Let's switch on our text tool and go over here and this is our front view. Front. Type in front, click and select it, change it to 5, OK. So we've got a side view, a top view, and a front view of the boat. Okay, let's file and save at this point. File and save. Okay, now we need to put some data in this text box. Let's put text, and up in here I want you to type whatever your name is. Okay, whatever your name is, I'd like you to put it in that box right there. Okay, under this one I'd like you to type the name of the drawing. Okay, you give it a name. You might want to call it 3D boat or boat drawing or wooden boat or something like that. But into that box you're going to type the name of the drawing. Into here you're going to type the units that I've used, okay, and that is millimeters. In this box, click, you're going to write scale : 1:1, which means full size. Okay, and then here, the final box, you're going to write whatever today's date is, and it'll be different for you than it is for me. And that is your engineering drawing all figured out and worked out. We go up to File, we go to Save, and we're done. So in this video I showed you how to open an existing drawing, save it as a different name, how to bring in and place views from a 3D object, how to create a pictorial and change the scale of that, how to add dimensions and annotations, and how to save your file. And that's us done.